Oh, sorry about your mom, Irina.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I mean, she was really sick, right?
Yes, she was pretty sick for the past 2 years. When she was first diagnosed, she was determined to beat it. But the treatments never seemed to be working. The doctors kept saying they were going to try something new, but nothing ever worked. She just got sicker and sicker.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, towards the end, she was just a shell of herself. Watching her wither away was the worst thing I've ever been through.
Right, but you had time to get ready for it because when my dog, Baxter, got hit by a car and died, I wasn't prepared at all. It was just all so sudden and he was dead. I was totally devastated. My therapist says I'm probably suffering from PTSD over it. They had to write a note to my teachers explaining my mental state. So I'm just saying you were kind of lucky because you had time to prepare yourself.
Are you seriously comparing your dog dying to the death of my own mother? She was only 42.
Well, Baxter was only 7. That's way younger when you compare it to people years or whatever. God, why do you have to be like that? My mom told me I'm supposed to try and be nice to you because of your dead mother and all, and this is the thanks I get. You're making me feel bad about myself, like always. My therapist says it's because you're jealous and have abandonment issues or something since our dad chose my family to live with instead of you and your mom.
You mean when my dad decided to leave his wife and newborn daughter to be with his office receptionist that he had knocked up?
Oh my God, it's not like you even remember living with him. At least he gave you guys money and stuff. Be grateful.
Grateful? My mom and I lived in a tiny 2-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. You guys live in a McMansion. My entire life, she has had to fight him for every little thing I needed that wasn't part of their divorce decree.
Yeah, well now you finally get to live with him. Congrats, you got your wish.
My wish? My wish was to have my mother die so I could move in with my absentee father, my witch stepmother, and my brain-dead half-sister.
Geez, why are you so mean? Is it because you're fat? Does being upset make fat people not act right? Are you okay?
I am upset, but I'm not fat.
Okay, look. I am trying here. You're making it really challenging for me to be nice to you. We've had to make sacrifices for you to move in here with us, you know. I thought you were going to get the basement bedroom, but my mom said that wouldn't be nice, so I have to give up my dressing room for you.
Huh? A dressing room? What the heck is a dressing room?
Duh, it's like my closet, but it's a room. It's for my shoes, clothes, makeup, and stuff. I don't know where I'm supposed to get ready now.
How about in your bedroom?
So, I'm like a poor person now? Your mom dies and you get a whole new house to live in, but I lose my dressing room. Life is so unfair.
Yeah, your life sounds really unfair. You don't need to worry, I won't be too long.
Huh? What do you mean?
Because I am counting the days until my 18th birthday. In just a little over a year, I can move out and never see any of you again.
Really? That's what you're going to do?
Yep, my mom made sure that she had a small life insurance policy set up for me. It was in a trust.
What's that?
She made it so I get it when I turn 18. It's not much, but it'll be enough for me to get a small place of my own, enroll in community college, and maybe buy a used car.
Oh.
Basically, it will be enough for me to get away from your family. So be grateful, you won't have to deal with me for long. 2 months later.
Irina, I need to speak with you, dear.
I'm at school. What's up? Did I forget to put a spoon in the dishwasher again?
Oh, what's that supposed to mean? I certainly hope that's not a commentary on how I like to keep my home. You know we have certain standards around here. I'm not sure how you and your mother kept your home, and I really don't care. But around here, we like to keep things a certain way. You never know when you might have pop-in guests. Now, I gave you a little bit of leeway when you first moved in. I knew you were grieving, and I'm a very compassionate person. But you've had plenty of time now to get in line with how I run my house.
Isn't it our house?
Pardon me?
Well, I am my father's daughter, aren't I? So I am part of your family, so it's our house. In fact, it was once my mother's house, too. It was the house my parents bought together when they were married. My mother just never got a chance to live in it before my dad left her for you.
Now, Irina, I was very clear when you were invited to move in with us that there would be no talk of that unpleasantness.
You didn't invite me to move in with you. You were legally required to take me in. My mother's dead, remember? And my father, your husband? He's my legal guardian now. He's obligated to care for me.
Regardless, you must do your part to live by our home's rules. That means cleaning up after yourself. You can't expect the housemaid to sweep up after every little mess you make.
You mean the way she cleans up after the rest of you? Felicia doesn't lift a finger in that house. She's a complete slob. The housemaid waits on her hand and foot. She literally leaves disgusting food garbage all over her bedroom for the housemaid to clean up. Oh, and also all over my room since you still haven't made her take half her clothes and shoes out of there.
I told you we would get to it eventually. What's Felicia supposed to do? It's certainly not her fault that she has so many things. A girl her age should have a proper dressing room.
What about me? I'm a girl her age. I don't even get a whole bedroom to myself in my own father's mansion.
You're different. You get good grades. You're in that science club of yours.
Math club, I'm in the math club.
Yeah, so you see, you aren't the type of girl who has to be concerned with designer clothes and shoes. Be grateful. It's hard to keep up with maintaining a glamorous look like Felicia and I have. Being smart, plain, and chubby makes things much easier for you.
For the last time, I am a size 8.
Exactly. So no more talk of your father needing to buy you new things. You should be just fine with what you already have.
All I asked for was some new jeans and shirts for school. I don't need designer things. You know, I was able to buy things for myself when I lived with my mom. I babysat and tutored for kids in our neighborhood. I was making good money, my own money to buy things with.
Next, you're going to be asking me to drive you to that slum you used to live in so you can tutor the poor kids again? No, thank you. Besides, you will be getting your own money soon enough from what Felicia tells me.
Huh? What did she tell you?
She told me that you actually have a little bit of a trust fund set up for yourself, so don't even think about asking your father for any college money. You should actually be using that money to pay us back for putting you up this year.
What? You expect me to pay rent for living in my own father's house?
I am not completely heartless, so not until you're 18, of course. But every day you're living here after your birthday, we'll have to calculate what your share is.
My share? When I don't even get a complete room of my own?
What am I supposed to do? Move Felicia's wardrobe into your father's library? Or into my Peloton room? Don't be absurd.
You know what? Don't worry about it. I don't plan on being here a day longer than I have to, so you could tell my father that for me. It's not like he ever bothers talking to me, even on the few nights out of the month that he's around.
Your father is a very busy and important man. You should be thankful he's putting a roof over your head. You know, you've had plenty of time to grieve your mother. Isn't it time to get over it? This depressed, angsty teenager routine is really getting tiresome.
So sorry to have bothered you.
I'm just trying to make this situation somewhat tolerable. The sooner it's over with, the better.
I couldn't agree more. 1 year later.
Irina, are you really going to go on not responding to me? There are serious matters that need to be discussed. It's bad enough that you have been completely unreachable during your own father's tragic death, but to not even show up to his funeral? What kind of child does that?
Hello, Celine. What kind of child doesn't show up to their own father's funeral? I don't know, maybe a child who never really regarded him as any kind of father.
What a completely heinous thing to say.
Oh, yeah. You know what I think is a heinous thing to say? I think it would be a father telling his own daughter that she was nothing but an inconvenience to him, that once she turned 18, as far as he's concerned, this relationship was over. That he had no interest in hearing her plans for college, for living on her own, for living her life, because anything she would ever get from him financially, she had already gotten.
Your father was simply making it clear to you that he wasn't going to be your piggy bank, that it was up to you to make something of yourself.
Right, because he was already yours and Felicia's piggy bank, right? Do you know that I didn't even have enough money to get my cap and gown for graduation? That I had to apply at the school office for special assistance? We were living in a mansion. Felicia and I were dropped off at school in a Mercedes that day.
Exactly, and yet here you are still complaining.
You know, I really thought when I heard from you today that this conversation was going to go in a very different direction.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
Geez, Celine, have you not even opened the package you received yesterday? I know you got it. It was registered mail. The housemaid told me she saw you sign for it.
The housemaid? Why on earth are you speaking with her?
Why am I speaking to one of the few people who showed me love or kindness this past year? Because she's my friend, and she told me that you signed for the package and left it in the foyer under the big mirror. Why don't you go open it? I guarantee you are going to be interested in what's inside.
You really are an intolerable person. Fine, I will open this package of yours. It better not be some sick joke.
No joke about it, I promise you that.
What? What on earth is this?
What does it look like? Let me guess. The first thing you'd be seeing is the letter from my lawyers, right?
Lawyers? Since when do you have lawyers? How did you afford that?
My trust fund for my mother's life insurance policy, remember? It turned out to be a bit more than I had anticipated. So, in addition to getting myself a car and setting up in my new apartment, there was plenty left over to hire some lawyers. Good ones.
I don't understand. Why on earth would a girl your age need a lawyer?
My trust opened up to me on my 18th birthday, as I expected. What I didn't expect was a letter from my mother. She had asked it to be delivered to me once the trust was open. You see, my mom always suspected that something wasn't right about the house. Your house because she was married to my dad when it was purchased, partly with her own money. She remembers signing lots of paperwork, also something about forming an LLC.
An LLC?
A limited liability company. It's just a way to open a business, but sometimes rich people will open one to buy and sell real estate when they don't want it to be known who owns the house.
Well, I don't understand what the hell this has to do with me.
Oh, come on, Celine. Are you really that clueless? Did one too many Brazilian keratin hair treatments seep into your brain? Take a look at the papers, it's all right there in your hands. My father didn't want to be on the record as owning the house. He had too many people after him for the money he owed. Shady business deals, some of them illegal maybe, who knows? So he made sure that the LLC that owned the house was in my mother's name. He was just listed as the officer to receive all the paperwork regarding it. My mom almost completely forgot. She'd just signed whatever he asked her to anyway. She wasn't exactly the savviest person when it came to business.
Whatever happened in your parents' very short mess of a marriage has nothing to do with me or my house.
Your house? I think you mean my house.
Your house?
Do I really need to spell this out for you? It's right there in black and white. Back when my parents got a divorce, my father completely bamboozled her, hid his money, his assets, scared her into thinking she would be penniless, and had his fancy lawyers gang up on her. She thought she was just lucky to get whatever she got. But over the years, she started to think about some of the things that just didn't seem to add up. She was already sick by then, and thankfully had made the decision just a year or so earlier to set up this trust for me. And I used part of that money to grant her dying wish, get to the bottom of who really legally owned the house. And as you can see right in front of you, it was my mom, and now it's me.
But that's impossible. This can't be true.
Oh, it's true, all right. Take a look at the last 2 pages of the package.
What is this?
See, you've got a choice. The first thing you will see is a rental agreement.
A rental agreement?
Yes, if you and Felicia would like to continue living in my house, you'll need to pay rent to me.
But what this say that you want? $8,000 per month?
Yep, pretty good deal if you ask me. The real estate agent I spoke with said I could easily get 10 grand a month, maybe even 12. But you know, I'm not heartless or anything. Out of consideration for you and your grieving process, I will wait a bit on the rest of the lawsuit.
The lawsuit?
Yes, you see, technically, my father would have owed my mom rent for all of the years your family was living in her house. So my lawyer plans to sue my father's estate. I told him we should figure out his living situation first, though, and give you adequate time to grieve.
Irina, I can't afford this amount of money. Your father, his financial affairs, they were a mess. He left us with no life insurance at all. All I have to our name right now is what's in our savings account, and it isn't much.
Wow, that's a shame. Are you officially declining the rental agreement?
I certainly can't afford to give you $8,000 per month to live in my own home.
I see. Well, I have a plan in place for that.
Thank God you could be reasonable about this. I mean, Felicia and I are certainly not to blame for your father's business affairs. So, what is your plan? Would you like to move back in here with us?
Hell no, not a chance. No, my plan is on the last page there in the packet.
What's this? A 30-day notice to vacate? You want us to leave our house and go where?
I don't give a crap where you go, but you need to be out of my house in 30 days or the sheriff will drag you out.
Please, we'll be homeless. Where will we go? I can't afford anything.
I guess you better start selling some stuff. That Peloton must be worth a bit. Start listing some of those designer shoes and bags on Poshmark, maybe. And you know, there are always programs for people who need special assistance.
Irina, please don't do this. Let's talk this out.
I'm sorry. Were you under the impression that I was going to be your piggy bank? Thanks to me and my mom, you had a roof over your head all these years. I think you should just be grateful. After that, I blocked Celine and Felicia after that conversation. Any mess that arose from their eviction, I left it to my lawyers to handle. What I do know is that my father owned some other property, a condo on the beach in Miami. So, Celine and Felicia moved in there. Of course, they had to ask my father's girlfriend to leave first. He'd had her living there for the past 6 years. At least they had a roof over their heads. The last I heard, Celine had found a job at a fancy hotel working as a concierge, and Felicia was finishing up her senior year of high school in Miami. I decided to instruct the lawyers to slow down with the lawsuit against my father's estate. I just wanted the whole matter to be resolved. Besides, with the amount I made from selling the house, it's more money than my mom or I could have ever hoped for. Have a drama story of your own? Share it with our team and be sure to subscribe for more.